Very good. So we've just started the recording. So welcome all. Thank you for joining for this session. There are others registered, so they may join us as time goes on. But I very much appreciate seeing the smiling faces and welcome all to this session. We will, and the double smile from Jan Willem. Thank you. I've got an update. It's been the last call we had was on May 11th, I think it was. So it's been about 2 months. It's been a very busy 2 months. So I'll give you an update for 10 or 15 minutes or so, just to catch you up to date. Just to let you know, we're under a severe thunderstorm watch here. So if I disappear quickly, it's because there's been a power outage and I'll reconnect on my phone. But let's keep our fingers crossed that everything will be okay. It's been a really busy 2 months, so I just want to quickly bring you up to date on what we've been doing and then answer any questions you might have. And then we're moving on to the main topic for the day. And the day will be, today we will have the same roundtable that we've been using at these sessions. And the question is, what is an institute? So that's a really important question for us to be thinking of. And I know many institutes have been rethinking what are they? What is it that they need to be doing to be as effective as possible with their membership? How should they be repositioning themselves in terms of how they provide services and can be attractive to the largest part of our consulting market possible? And from the perspective of ICMCI, I'll give some comments as well about how we might think about expanding our network and helping Global Institute in terms of the work it does as well. So anyway, as you can tell, I'm looking forward to that discussion. In terms of what we've been doing, it has been a busy season because the hub meetings took place in this time of period. We had the Americas Hub meeting, which had been dormant for a couple of years, and it was really focused on how those institutes that are now in the Americas can come together to reach out and to increase their reach into North and South America. So it was a very good session, and we have a new chair. Flavio from Brazil is going to be the chair going forward, and we're really excited to see new things happening in the Americas Hub. We also had the AP Hub. Lydia is here. She's the chair. We'll continue as the chair through the next term. Thank you for your service, Lydia. And there they took a different approach. They had a 4-hour conference, which I was also invited to speak at on the future of consulting, and I was just very impressed, Lydia, with the reach. You had representatives from around the world and a real focus on Asia Pacific. So that session went very well. We then had the Euro Hub later, chaired by Jan Willem, who is the chair of Euro Hub, retiring chair, because that will now be handed over for the next session to a new chair, and that's going through the nominations process now to identify who the following chair will be. And for the first time, we've organized an Africa Hub, which will be taking place this Friday. And there it will be similar to the Americas Hub to really think about, again, how do we expand our reach in Africa? We are getting more institutes in formation there, and we're really excited about working with them and the established institutes to talk about the future of management consulting in Africa. And of course, it was International Consultants Day, and that was an excellent event where we had some very good speakers talking about some of the initiatives that we've had. And if you didn't have a chance to attend that, I do really strongly recommend that you go onto our YouTube channel and listen to it, because it gives you a great update on some of the initiatives that we're doing now in terms of moving forward. I'd also like to remind everyone about our annual meeting is 14th of October. Please do put that in your calendar. We'll be having the 2 sessions as we have previously. And in the first session, we'll be again focused as we are now on Asia Pacific and Europe. The second session on Europe, Africa, and the Americas. And between the 2 sessions this year, we will be having some speakers. So kind of a mini conference. We'll take a page out of your book, Lydia, and have some speakers so that those who from the earlier session can stay on and participate, and those in the later session can continue through. We will use the same format as last year, so we'll publish some videos where each one of the committee chairs and officers will give you highlights, and then we have a chance for open discussion and answering questions at the formal sessions. One of the main issues that we're working with is an initiative in the UK, which is a great initiative where they're creating the Chartered Management Consulting Certificate. So they see this as a higher level certificate, which requires more experience than the Certified Management Consultant. It's consistent with our competency framework, which does talk about and have accommodation for a senior level of management consulting. So it's just now finishing their pilot phase, and they are focused specifically on the UK market, which is right for an institute. And we've been talking with them throughout the entire pilot phase, and are continuing to discuss what the implications are and how do we work through if someone from one of your institutes or from one of the someone from the Global Institute wanted to access that designation. So far, the UK has said they're not intending to offer this outside of the UK, but we do want to work through those, because we know management consultants, being management consultants, will take initiatives, and we want to make sure that we have a good strategy in place for how we deal with those things. And speaking of competency framework, professional services committee is working now on an update to the competency framework. It's being reviewed by several institutes that have volunteered to look at it and provide comment. So coming up towards our annual meeting, we will have an updated competency framework, and this is really important. It's clear that as leaders of the profession globally, we have to ensure that we're completely up to date. And I have had a chance to sort of have a sneak preview of it, and I'm really looking forward to everyone being able to review and see this. And of course, there will be an implementation period in terms of institutes adapting any programs that they have to ensure that they're accommodating the upgraded competency framework. What else did I want to tell you about? The National Consulting, the Consulting Index. We published a COVID-19 edition this year. It was released at on the International Consultants Day call, and they're looking at what happened during COVID. They did see a decline in consulting, or not so much in this report, but overall, we have seen and heard that there was a decline in 2020. But the work that we've done now, asking institutes about looking forward, we do see a rebound in management consulting services in 2021. So that report is available on our website. So please do have a look at that if you're interested. And the consultancy book is still underway. We're continuing to look for contributions of up to 200 words from management consultants. And Simon, who's taking the lead on this with support from REMA, and the task force are putting together the book itself, which we're looking to get published in the near future. Our treasurer is on this call and did report to our last annual meeting that we're in good condition financially from the ICMCI perspective. Because of the lack of travel that we typically budget for, we do have some flexibility on that side. So we've decided as a board that in the 2021-2022 budget year, which is the invoices coming up now, we will be offering a rebate to institutes. So since we did not have to expend those, we know that institutes are under pressure. So we will be providing a mechanism to lower your membership fee for this year, so that you can invest that in your continued growth going forward. What else did I want to talk about? At the Institute, the business process automation update, we are looking at automating many of the processes that we have at ICMCI. This will be a really good one because a lot of the things that we do are repetitive. There's a real process, for example, to our reassessment. There's a process for the initial assessment, and for 17024, there's a real process in place. So to the extent that we can automate that, it's going to really help us be more effective. And it's a learning for us so that we can hand that on to institutes so that you can adapt that for your own certification processes. And then just the end before I open it up for questions, it's also been a busy season for me in terms of speaking. And one of the silver linings, as I always talk about in these updates, is around my ability now to attend different sessions. The Ukraine had a conference which I was not able to attend live, but I was able to put together a 5-minute introductory session. So I appreciate doing those kinds of things. Spoke at the conference in AP Hub. I also spoke at a conference, Tuya is on the line, in Mongolia. Was very pleased to do that on consulting in disruptive times. And so I appreciate that opportunity. Oh, and I also spoke to a university class at Hult University in the United States, talking about consulting and helping them understand as they're going to launch their careers about how consulting might be a career choice for them, or to understand how consulting, especially management consulting, works if they go into the business and private sector or public sector. And then finally, we had a session with the Cmc Global Directory. So we tried to have a meeting of all of the different members of the directory. And this was a very good session where they shared information and talked about how they might collaborate. So in a 12-minute nutshell, this is an overview of our activities. As I say, it has been a very busy time. I'm very pleased to have that report for you. So before we move on to our main subject, any topics about the work of ICMCI or the board, or any of the activities that we've had underway, or anything anyone wants to share in a general way?
Well, Dwight, the only thing I can say, I've been there with almost everything that you said, but if I listen to you now, I think, oh my God, did we do all that stuff in such a short time? It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
That is, in retrospective, something that is indeed a very busy period.
Yeah, it is, and we are a busy profession. I always have an opportunity now to ask Rima if she has anything she wants to add from the perspective of the Secretariat. Hi, Rima.
Hello, everyone. We're busy with the Constantinos applications. That's one thing that you didn't mention, and it's underway. The assessment of all the applications for the academic fellows is underway as well. So it's lots of tasks that we're following up with some of the committees. And we actually started working now on the annual meeting documentation. We started the audit process. That's one thing that is underway already. We asked for all the reporting in order to make sure that everyone knows of exactly what happened during the full year. So yes, it is busy times that are coming up, and they will all see it in writing on paper by the time of the annual meeting.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So, as you know, these reports are interactive and two-way, and we always pick a topic where we can discuss and then have a round table. I have found these round tables to be extraordinarily enlightening because they're an opportunity for us to share information about our thoughts so that everyone on the call gets to hear what everyone else. And I think this one might be even more lively discussion. So I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say. And we do it in roundtable format. So I'll just start, and randomly, as you have appeared on my screen, I'll ask you for your thoughts, and then we can get into more open discussion. And after, I will include myself and Rima in the roundtable, because I think these are all strategic discussions that we need to think. And Husseima as well, if you want to comment, please do, as you're very involved, I know, in administering the Global Institute as well. So let's start. Tuya, hi. We talked not too long ago, just a few hours ago, actually. How are you? And could you give us your perspective on how you're positioning your institute? So what is an institute? What do you see as the main services that you're able to offer, and what's changing as you're thinking about how you operate going forward? And you're on mute, so you'll have to. Thank you.
Thank you, and hello everyone. It's really great seeing everybody today. And yes, it's quite impressive that, as Glenn said, in 2 months so much happened, and I've been involved with some of those, and I try my best to get information as much as possible. And we are here at the Mongolian Institute. We are very first time that processing the 4 applications for CMCs. So it's we've been busy doing the processes go well, and as specified in the CMC manual. So we've been training our mentors and assessors and those for preparing ourselves ready for CMC production. And we are quite happy with that. And plus that we had great support from ICMCI, from yourself, Dwight, and as a chair, and also Rima and Kuzaima all the time, that getting all the answers on time forever, what we needed to do our jobs here, like as I said, to promote CMC, and also to certify our applicants, and also we are heavily focusing on the CMC competency framework, and we're trying to create more awareness that our applicants are quite aware of the CMC competency framework and code of conduct, our institute's code of conduct and ICMCI code of conduct. And we were busy doing the online test for CMC code of conduct tests, because prior to oral assessment, we thought it was quite essential that they read code of conducts and objectivity and independence of consultants and etc. When they pass this test, and on top of the 3 customer client input on their consulting engagements, we sort of allowed them to have an oral assessment. So we are at the moment heavily focusing on us to get our skills on properly assessing and evaluating CMC applicants, and CMC pipeline is looking quite promising. So next week we are doing webinar on CMC certification, and I again had a great support from Rima and Dwight on this, and so we translated all the documents for the webinar, and also we are getting help of Nick Warren, who is going to speak on early first week of August about ISO 2700 and CMC competency framework, and very much looking forward to that. And we also, at the moment, we are trying to send out our very first application for Constantinus Award. So I'm quite excited that, and we hope that we meet the deadline of that. So I'm personally, I'm quite impressed and happy with ICMCI activities, and we're trying to catch with everything up, and then trying to make our contributions, like 17 and also the concept very interesting, and we are very much looking forward to have it. And also wanted to ask if this can be translated in the Mongolian language or any other languages, maybe some other institutes want to. And we also are trying to organize that consultant index, national consultant index, and one of our members are working on that. And we also had Simon before helping us to explaining the national consulting index last year to our members. So it was very interesting. And this time we're gonna do ourselves that get the report and understanding and then share the information with our members. So what I'm trying to say is that the exposure of ICMCI and CMC trademark in Mongolia is expanding, and we are quite happy with our progress. Is that very much looking forward to the next development. And we at the board meeting, which is coming up next week, that we're gonna have a huge presentation on ICMCI and its activities and its structure and etc. So we are very much looking forward to that. And thank you again, everyone, for your help and support extended to us, and very happy that Rima is going to be our next speaker, hopefully in September, to our board and committees about the ICMCI, and also the questions we are very much looking forward to ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that update. Jan Willem, you're coming up next on my screen, and I know this is a timely question for you, because in conversations, I understand that in the Netherlands, the institute there is talking about how they position themselves and asking that exact question about what is an institute.
Yeah, I can give you an update from the Netherlands. In short, our board in the Netherlands, which I'm not part of anymore after 8 years of being the president of the board, has been conducting a lot of work, a customer journey. That's what they experienced in the last year, to see what is in it for a member of our society. In our IMC, people are really thinking of building communities and expanding the work of the IMC, not only to the management consultants, but also opening up for other consultants in other different areas. Or for instance, if you are an engineer and you are in a job where in the upcoming 5 to 7 years, you are going to deal with change management, etc. Why not take part in activities from our IMC and maybe become a member, and maybe a member for 5 to 7 years or whatever, not a lifetime membership anymore. So you start consulting, you become a member, and when you retire, you'll be a retired member of our IMC. That's the normal procedure. But we are opening up to other professions where people participate in change management stuff or management consulting stuff, etc. That's one of the ideas. The other one is that in building a community, it will become more and more applicable for members to participate in different task force or focus groups or whatever. Normally, we had big events where you subscribe, you take part, and it will become there will be more activities with more members participating in smaller groups focused on special interests, etc. And also regionally, we try to get people acquainted with the idea that they can meet up live in smaller events all over the country. So not only in the center of the country with a big event, but also in the northern parts of our country or eastern parts, where you can meet like-minded people. And that is something that is of interest to our members as well. That is what we try to establish and make it more. The board now is trying to facilitate more our members and try to be a facilitator than to be the guard of ethics and profession, etc. It's something that they still want to do, but it's a kind of changing, it's a kind of shift towards building the community and getting people active and involved in participating in all the that is something what is going on in my country now, and it's a very interesting way of looking at the members in our IMC. and the customer journey did well. And that is something I can recommend to other IMCs as well. Make a real customer journey and see from the perspective of a normal member what you face, but also the question, what's in it for me, can be answered by examining thoroughly how this customer journey comes up with conclusions from the perspective of the individual member. That's what I want to contribute to.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for those insights. I appreciate that very much. Oksana, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I agree with Jan Willem because a new small form of webinar is very perspective for involve new members in our society. I agree. It's very good idea. Its idea is working. We see it. For example, in this year, we made some webinars about very important team for consultant, and it's some new participant involved in our society. It is very interesting new colleagues. For example, one of them won in our national stage of Konstantinos Award. Rima, hello. I remember that now is a deadline, and I hope we send our form tomorrow or maybe after tomorrow. It's very interesting project about global transformation of business, how the local business company transforms from regional service company to global technology company is in sphere of decarbonization. It's very interesting, and I hope it will be very interesting for all our members too.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Oksana. I appreciate that. It's always a pleasure to hear your activities in Russia. Thank you. So now we move to China, just a little further south. Yan, Yolio, please do let us know what some of your activities are and what your latest thinking is about your role as an institute. Oh, you have to unmute you, please. So you're muted, Yolio, still.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect, thank you.
Our topic is how to define institute. So please allow me to illustrate some opinions on our side. We think for institute, the three aspects should be focused on. The first is make no profit. We should have no competence with our members. So the second is provide services to our members, and the third is to build the bridge between the enterprises and the CMC firms. Not only CMC firms, just CMC consulting for CMC consulting companies. Yeah. So we can make examples using our organization. Our organization MCCOCEC is a secondary committee of China Enterprise Confederation. Actually, we had been playing the role of China, of the role of Association of China Consulting Industry. We have a very close connection with the government. We have a complete membership. We have a complete membership systems. Our members were divided into 3 levels: the director level, vice director level, and the normal ordinary level. We collect the member fees and the private services for them. And we have many activities each year, like a salon, like technology update training. And every 2 years we have organized some consulting and training summit every 2 years. And we evaluate excellent consultant and consulting companies. And we issue the China excellent professional cases every year. Accepted the requirement according to the requirement of the government. We organized the SME's expert database. There are more than 1,000 experts in that database. At the same time, we issue the knowledge update training every year for this expert. In addition, we organize the CMC and management consultant training and certification every year. All of these activities were examples of our business for our organization.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that update. Very, very helpful. Kim, how are you today? Off to the Nordic countries.
I'm fine, thank you. It's good to see Philip's picture, as we are having the heat wave in Finland as well. It's already almost 27 degrees here, so wow. Enjoying the heat. Thinking of our institute, of course, we are all on summer holidays, so not much happening. We are struggling with our assessment, which is, I think, a common thing in the small institutes. When the people in the board is changed, so the new board has problems with knowing what it is all about in the assessments. I've been not working so much for the ICMCI anymore, but doing some assessments, and I can see a clear difference in big institutes and in small institutes. The big ones are professional and the small ones are as a club. And there is some enthusiastic person who drives the small institute, but as I always say in business, what takes one day in business takes at least 1 month in the institute. So things really go slow, and mostly the eagerness of the persons in the board die before anything really happens. So executing is difficult. Actually, I was thinking then, would there be something the ICMCI could do, especially for the small institutes? And the thought was that what actually Mongolia have done, use the ICMCI to take them to speak to the institute meetings, but perhaps we should take the initiative at the ICMCI so that first of all collect all the annual meeting dates from all the member institutes, and then offer either our board member who is responsible of that institute, or if the chair or RIMA has the time to participate with a speech from the ICMCI side in those annual meetings of the institutes, would perhaps help. So instead of inviting them to the hub meetings, we would invite ourselves into their annual meetings. Would perhaps be work better as our support to the institutes. That's because, as said, I think the small institutes would appreciate that. The large one, perhaps not. There isn't the desire in the large ones which work professional, but perhaps it would work there too. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. Then when Jan Willem was talking, I was thinking of our old good product called ACP. In my opinion, there is a lot of consultants in the larger companies that work internal. They are not management consulting companies, and that's where the ACP is aiming to deliver consultancy knowledge into companies that are not management consulting companies, but who have internal consultants. So why wouldn't they want to get a status of CMC, especially if they offer their services also to their clients, mm-hmm. like IT companies, engineering companies, big industries. So I think we could or should have a look at refreshing a little bit the ACP idea. And perhaps it would work on the idea Jan Willem had, that let's attract others than management consulting companies to have their consultants as our members. So all of all, a couple of ideas and nothing happening in Finland, struggling with the assessments.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
Okay, thank you very much, Kim. I appreciate that. Philip, off to Austria. I see the beautiful Alps in your background there.
Yeah, although I have to, from a point of full disclosure, it is actually the Swiss Alps in the background, not the Alps. So, but it's like I said, it's cooled down here because we've had a nice strong thunderstorm that's passed over the city of Vienna just in the morning time and woke us all up. So yeah, we're all nice, cooled down, wet, and awake. In that case, yeah, my regrets to Canada, because you're experiencing a huge heat wave, at least in the West, from what we gather in the news. Yeah, thank you also for the update that you've given us. From the perspective of Austria, I'd also do this in a two-part statement. For the first part, what defines an institute? Our institute is one of the, by definition, ICMCI definition, one of the established institutes. So we have developed a broad portfolio of services for our member. In general, our main goal is to promote the value of consultancy services for society and for business partners in general. We provide a platform for networking, for connecting consultants with each other. We help consultants develop their skill set through specialized trainings and events, webinars. That's something where, of course, the COVID crisis has enabled us to go the next step in terms of digitalization. All the events that we did and training sessions that we had that were face-to-face previously have been done online for the past year, have worked very well. And this is so the format of a webinar or hybrid formats of people surplus and connected via online is something that will remain and has had a very beneficial effect for us. We are looking towards. We are very optimistic that we can this year get together our annual conference in the fall, the one where some of you have already been. That's a larger event with over 1,000 people, but we are still optimistic that it's possible to get this together this fall, and that it's not going to fall. We were not going to have to postpone it due to restrictions that might be coming, but it's something that we don't know yet for sure, because concerning the corona crisis, we are expecting a fourth wave sometime, and the question is only how big will this be, and how well will the vaccination strategy be implemented, and what effect will it have. Yeah. Furthermore, for our institute, we do a lot of lobbying towards the government to make sure that consultancy is well situated within the legal framework, that the rights of consultants in practice are properly defined. We help consultants with information services if they need special information on any legal advice or other information. We try to give them a first advice or help them find information on topics that aren't mainstream. We have a good back end organization where we have where we can reach in depth into various fields and subjects, which is of great value for our members. And of course, we do a lot of media work, PR work on special interests for consultants, like I said, on the value of consultancy services or any other consultancy related topics, such as the International Consultants Day, of course. Yeah. On a formal side, we passed our reassessment beginning of this year, so thank you to the people involved again for this. It did take a slightly longer time than the last year's, which was more due to the fact that we had other that we and our evaluators, assessors had other problems on the forefront of their minds. So Austria will remain a member on good terms for the next 3 years, and we're happy for this.
Good to hear.
We're very happy for this. Yeah. On a general side, in Austria, what trends do we see? We are our government, our organization as such. We're focusing very much on the recovery strategy at the moment. Now we are entering the phase of post-corona. About 50% of the population is vaccinated, so we're looking to up these numbers, and now is the time to really try to keep the whole economy afloat, get the motor moving again, and our main interest is to make sure that consultants will provide value services for their customers in this process. We expect consultancy services to be that there will be a large increase in services for question of transition management, turnaround management. A lot of big companies are have had their bills dues postponed actually until this summer. So there will be a lot of companies who are now faced with larger payments that are due now. So our members will be very much in need to help these companies get through the next quarter, and through the next half year. There's two main topics that are in focus for companies in Austria. The one is the ongoing process of digitalization, digital transformation, and the other one is, which is a very much trending, is the whole question of sustainability, everything to do with climate goals, climate change, but and in general, a sustainability in company processes, management processes, product development processes. So that's something where we believe that our members will have a main focus for the next year, or at least for the next term. What we've also experienced is a real roller coaster ride in anything that relates to marketing. Every time there was a lockdown, marketing expenditures just went down. Every time there was the restrictions were released, the marketing expenditures just shot up again. Brand development is a main topic that is coming in a lot of companies, that they're trying to position themselves in this whole opening phase, recovery phase, and so we're seeing a lot of companies, a lot of customers who have money on hand, assets on hand, and they're putting this into marketing and brand development. So yeah, in this sense, digital transformation, sustainability, brand development, those are the main topics at the moment that are driving services in Austria. And other than that, we hope that we're not going to experience another real full set lockdown again. So, but for more that will be possible to keep the economy moving with minor restrictions in certain local instances, depending what developments we have. Yeah. And on a personal note, I haven't really got around to do much writing in the past half year. I myself have taken on a new position in the economic chamber. I'm division manager of the whole information consultancy division, which is much broader than in management consultancy. There's a whole scope of consultancy, consultancy services providers, financial services providers in this sector. There's a new IMC director, Claudio Stettemann, that very many of you have already come to know. The IMC, Austrian IMC, is a part of my division, so I'm actually now the supervisory manager of the IMC, which helps. And so I remain within the scope, and and I've also reached an agreement with Alfred that for the further time being, I'll remain the liaison towards ICMCI, just to make sure that my successor Claudio Stettemann has enough time for his own transition. There's a lot of topics on his table at the moment, and I've just taken the liberty of connecting with you for the next future. So for the next term, and definitely until next year, I'll be your face of the IMC, or a face of the IMC, and will remain delegate to the ICMCI. So it hasn't been a goodbye yet, because there is no goodbye at the moment, but there's been a change, and you've noticed it already. So.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm very happy to hear that, and congratulations on your promotion. That's very nice to hear for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Moving along on my screen, and we're down to the last 10 minutes, so we'll have to keep this precise. And I do want to give ICMCI a bit of an insight from our perspective as well. So, Jose, any comments or thoughts from the perspective of Global Institute?
Yes, another very busy year through the pandemic, and we're happy to keep communicating with all IMCs and support them in many levels. Currently, as Rima said, we're focusing on preparation for the annual meeting, and we started the auditing process, and I hope we can get all the support from the IMCs when we are reaching them for certain requests. Also, we have circulated the membership survey to all IMCs, which will be very helpful to reporting to the annual reports in our and support many committees for their reports. So that's all from my side.
Thank you very much, and do watch for the that membership survey. The deadline's July 30th. We really need the data in. So so if you haven't seen it, please look for it. We have Lydia and Rima. So let me move to Lydia next, and then Rima, I'll save you the second last word before my last word. Lydia, are you still with us?
Yes, of course. Okay, let me show myself. Okay.
There we go.
Well, I'll try to cut it short as possible. Now, basically, you know, as an institute, we are forever thinking of how do we recruit and retain members, huh? Because that's very, very important. And we have a special committee that focus on membership benefits, all right? What benefits we offer to our members. Now, in short, we have a big ecosystem that we have partnered with. So we are tapping all our ecosystem partners to see how we can benefit one another so that we can learn and we can have cross-pollination of ideas, as well as get people to come to be consultants. Really, there's many benefits and it's really useful. That's one. The second one, which I like to share in short, is that this is nothing new, but we have taken one step further. You know, social media can be very, very powerful. All right. In our institute, we have a community of practice of digitalization, consists of 40 to 50 members who specialize in digitalization. So what we have done is this. We have also set up another committee for business development. So we engage one of our members who is a consultant to focus on social media, all right? And he's paid for it so that he will do it with enthusiasm and drive and focus. So the focus is actually for lead generation for management consultants to sign up. So that in a way would increase a steady flow of revenue for IMCS, okay, on that basis. And it's on a 3 to 3 months basis that we pay him. And he has to demonstrate some results, some positive result, of course. And it was our first 3 months trial. It was quite interesting in the sense that he has, in fact, we found, and we also do some weekly anesthetics, you know, analyzing the data, and we find that we had 1,000 visitors. We had 140 leads generated with interest to become a consultant. Of course, we need to convert them, which means that it translates to an ROI of 670%, you know, ROI for us. So we are working on this. And honestly, this social media, because it's a paid service, there's really focus, and things are moving well because we have weekly analytics, you know, so that we can measure whether it's a positive outcome. So we have only tried for 3 months. We will try further for another 3 months. And I think it has proven worthwhile, you know, in that sense, in short, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate both of those insights. Rima, over to you as our executive director.
Okay, but before I start, I just need to let Oksana know that the deadline is the 20th, and the process, you haven't started it yet for the Konstantinos application. So please email me separately. Let's share on how it should be done. That aside, talking about what an institute is, to me, and in general, without looking specifically at any of the institutes that I work with day to day, I would, in my mind, think of it as the facilitator of knowledge, facilitator of information, opportunities. It's a place for marketing the ideas, promoting what management consulting is, the advocate, maybe for the ethics, for the standards of what the profession within that institute is all about. And thinking about a professional, not-for-profit institute, those are the ideas that come to mind. In many IMCs, I would think that some think of themselves as the police, and where they actually just stand their guard and make sure that everything is done only according to what is a yes or a no. Some are facilitators, and they try to increase the knowledge, increase the support that is provided to the IMCs and to the members, and some are a combination of both. To me, I even see ICMCI as a combination of both, because it is our standards and we want them to be properly implemented. Yet at the same time, we're trying to do all the facilitation, not just to the IMCs, not just to our members, but also to the members of our members, because our mission or our goal is the whole profession and not a sector or a section of this profession. That to me, what an institute is. Facilitator, which is a word that Jan Willem used, and yes, I agree with that. It is all about information and knowledge, and that's what Oksana said. So yes, it is a combination of both. We protect what we already gained, what we already have, yet we promote for the enhancement, for increasing the bar, if I may say. We want to maintain what our ethics are, but we also need to keep an open eye on what's happening around us and how we should adapt and evolve. And at the same time, offer all those and facilitate the growth of our members and not just of the profession, because that leads to this. So it's kind of, okay. That's
Excellent.
what I would say an institute should be.
I love that perception. Thank you. So I've got a 1 minute wind up from my perspective, and but could I ask, while I'm doing that, if you turn on your cameras, and perhaps Rima, you can take a snap for our social media about our meeting today. I think one of the key things that we need to be thinking about as a profession is what's best for the profession, and how do we help management consultants generally be more successful, and in doing that help their clients be more successful, and in doing that, you know, help communities be more successful. So we've tended to think in our 35 plus years as an organization of quite structured, one country, one institute, with some exceptions. But in this day and age, and accelerated by what we've seen through the COVID pandemic, borders are starting to break down. The boundaries between professions are even starting to break down, and the way in which people think of themselves relating to their profession, relating to their clients, is changing quite dramatically. So, so as a global profession, I think at the national level, but also at the global level, we need to think very creatively, and you know, the expression outside the box, I think, is more applicable than ever, about how do we reach out to those individuals who think of themselves as consultants but might never think of joining an institute. How do we bring them into the family and ensure that we are the voice of the profession, but that we can continue to grow as a global profession. So I was very interested to hear what's happening in each of your institutes, and how you're working going forward to serve your members forward. And we have to ask the same questions globally from the perspective of ICMCI about how can we support you, but also how can we think of in different ways of involving the consultant profession around the world so that we can continue to grow and continue to be successful. And in closing, just thank you. I have the honor of giving this report of all this amazing activity, but I do a fraction of the work. There's just so many people working at the ICMCI level and at the institute level to help make this profession great. So I want to end on a note of thank you to all of you and to all of your colleagues for all of the great work that you're doing. So that brings us to the hour, 1 minute past, in fact. So thank you for joining us again today. This will be posted online, so you can refer it to others in your institutes and other members, and we'll promote it as well. And if any questions come up or if you have any thoughts, always reach out to me. I'm always happy to hear from you at any time. So thank you very much for this great session again today.